Oh, I think we are live. Let me just double check everything. I think it takes a second to show up on here. Yeah, when I tested this, it took like maybe 60 seconds before it showed up. So I just want to make sure.
Yep, on the other platforms, because it shows me that we're live.
Oh, you see it?
Yep.
All right, perfect. On what, you see it on X?
Oh
Do you
no,
see it on
sorry,
YouTube?
I see it on this platform. I didn't realize you have to look at it on other platforms. All right, let
I
me
just
have a look.
want, yeah, no, I just wanted to make sure it's actually showing up on X because I don't see it yet. Okay, there we
All
go.
right, we're going.
Live on
It's
YouTube and
there.
live on X. Yeah, it just takes a minute to get set up. All right, cool. What's going on,
Yep.
everyone? Welcome back to the Asia Session stream. We got my regular guest, my buddy Aiden, who just got back from recording a podcast that we were just talking about. So that was pretty cool. And yeah, we'll see what's going on here, man. It's post FOMC. So from my experience, the Asia session is usually pretty, there's usually some like afterglow of volatility on, those days after the FOMC data release. Today's a bit weird though, because we do have a US bank holiday. Market's going to be closing early tomorrow at like 12 p.m. Central. So it might be hit or miss. It's a bit slow right now, but we'll see if it picks up. We got 8 p.m. when the kill zone will begin. So we got 20 minutes to maybe, I don't know, come up with an idea, maybe formulate a bias and see if we could begin to build out any setups. But yeah, man, I don't know if you have been doing any trading today. I did some trading, ended up being green on the day, but it was a bit of a battle for me, man. I talked about it in the Discord. I wanted the shorts all day, right? So if I go back to, let me go to the 15-minute chart. I already changed my volume profile levels to the current levels that we need. So, but the point of control was up here. And for some reason, I just did not think we were going to make it up there. And I was short biased, wanting to see us basically fill some of this imbalance and honestly go lower. I thought we were going to go even lower than this, but instead we kind of ran up all morning and I took like 3 short attempts in here on the 1 minute time frame. Like, to be perfectly honest, it was stupid. I was just not thinking very clearly, not over risking or anything, but just losing more trades than I should have. And then finally I did catch a winning short, which made it all back plus some. I was up like 1,000 on the day. Here's the
Good job.
Yeah, here's the screenshot of when I finally caught the winning execution. You see, I basically got short right at the previous day's point of control. So NQ actually, I was short on 22.85, and I just held that shit and made it all back, plus a few $100 per account. So we're chilling. My Tradeify accounts are looking good, so no complaints there. I could log that in a minute, and we can go over that too. But yeah, that's basically my recap on the day. I don't know if you did any trading, but what are you thinking, Aiden?
Yeah, I mean, I've been out and about, man. So to be honest with you, I haven't been trading too much. But looking at the market, I was like, dude, I just it seems like a pretty difficult one to trade at the moment. But that one that you got at the point of control, I mean, that was the middle of the night for me. But that was a beautiful entry, so I wasn't awake for that one. But during my sessions, it's been pretty difficult to find something to get excited about for trading. So I haven't been too active for sure. I'm even taking a look right now, and I'm trying to see whether we can find something. But we're gonna have to wait and see, man, because for what I
bit
look
choppy
for,
right now.
yeah, what I look for this market, yeah, I have been chopped up a little bit earlier on in the week, so don't really want to continue that. I want to really wait for something clear. So I've got to look at that, put out the levels, look at the ranges that I'm looking at. And see if something lines up. But nothing for me yesterday, man.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Or today for you.
I think just right away starting to look at a few things. We do have previous day's point of control unmitigated above us. So that's one thing we could possibly, I mean, we technically have an 80% setup until that level is mitigated. But I do want to be careful right now because as you can see, man, my accounts are looking pretty good. I'm up 5K in all 3 of my Tradeify accounts. So
Oofed.
I know you don't use the futures firms much right now or the instant funding, but basically in order to take this payout, my first payout on these Tradeify accounts, I need to make 6%. So I'll be eligible for my first payout at $6,000. So I'm 1% away. We're right there. So, this is some of the hardest points for me, at least with trading prop firms when you have these profit targets, because it's like, okay, if I can make that right now, I can request that payout. And especially when the week is starting to, wind down, like tomorrow we only have a half day and then I got Friday. So, I think as long as I have 1 or 2 green days, I think I'll be able to request this payout by the end of the week. But I can't try to rush that process, man, because every time I do that, I just get smoked. It's just the truth. I just have to focus on trading, like with no other thought process other than finding a good trade. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely, man. I know this state, especially when the pressure's on the line. It's one thing we spoke about on the podcast as well, is how pressure changes your trading. Even if you are used to making money, if you're successful in other businesses and you have money coming in or whatever, when you're putting risk on the line in a trading environment, things can change. You either become too conservative or you become too greedy or you become too eager, whatever
Facts.
the mental flaw is. There is typically something that is going to be creeping in, which you need to be aware of if you want to break through to actually making money. So no worries, man. You've done this before, so I'm sure you got it.
Yeah. Also, I want to remind everyone who's just getting into the stream. I know we're early, and I usually get on around 8. So some people who've been watching regularly, they might not be looking until 8. But if you did join, please, I always forget to say this, give me a like on the video. Apparently that helps a lot with the algorithm, especially on YouTube. So I would appreciate that, man. A like, a comment, all that good stuff. But yeah, I don't know if you want to get your chart up, bro. Maybe tell us what you're looking at. I don't know if you've checked anything yet. But how is your Funding Pips account going?
Not too good, man. My Funding Pips account, as soon as I got funded, I didn't take any good trades. So I basically drove it straight into the ground.
It happens, man.
Man, you couldn't believe it. I passed it without a single hiccup. And then as soon as I was trading it funded, I basically didn't have I wasn't in profit at all. So no good on that front, man. So yeah, again, it comes down to the psychological side of things.
100%, man. Now, do you still have it? Is it breached or do you still have
breached.
It? Oh, it's breached. Damn. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So I have to go again.
See, this is the thing about those 2 steps, man. You put so much time and energy and focus into a 2-step. Like if you blow that quickly, it's just the worst feeling. I've been there when I used to trade 2-step models and FX firms. I've been there, bro. Like it's almost impossible to get those things funded quickly. You did it probably as quick as one could ever do it. Like you had it funded in what, like a week?
It was a little bit less, yeah. I think
a little bit less than a week. Bro, that's
maybe a week.
You're a great trader, so of course it can happen, but that is very hard to do, to make 8% and then another 5% on 2 phases.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of focus and determination. And then breaching that's one of the reasons I love. It's one of the benefits of futures for me is the 1-step model. It's like getting funded is a little bit, I don't know how to explain it. It just, there's less effort to get funded.
Yeah.
In futures. Especially with the straight to funded, man. You pay a little extra fee and you get that account. And I know people don't like that there's not as much drawdown and it's trailing, but from my perspective, like if you're scaling up and you're trading at least multiple accounts, like at least 2 or 3, just trade smaller size. Like, you know what I've told you, I've been trading 1 mini on the ES or 5 micros on the NQ. And I don't care that that's not a lot of size, because if we can go to my journal real quick. Like when I'm trading 3 accounts, it's good money. And it's going to, I've been trading these accounts for like 3 weeks. I got like 20 trading days locked in on them. And even on the days where I really didn't make much per account, it's hold on. Oh, there we go. It's not showing. It doesn't feel like it still feels like a decent amount of money. Like even on this day, this was a break even day on the 13th, but it's still like $360 because I'm copy
Yeah.
trading, and
Yeah.
then those good days, like where I made I think on this day I made like 900 per account. No, I made like 1100. It multiplies, man. So because I'm trading 3 accounts with these, the net P&L is 15 grand so far. And we're right there, right, just about ready for the payout. This is my daily equity curve. So I mean, a nice curve, man. And I've been trading for a while, so it's not just like a good run. I mean, this is how I trade.
No, it's consistent for sure, week over week. Really, really good.
Yeah, exactly. And the red days are realistic, bro. Like I think that's the biggest thing. That was a big hurdle for me in the beginning, is just accepting red days. Like it's just impossible not to have a red day. I used to, if I was either going to be green or I was going to blow up. Like those are my only two options. And the problem with that is if you live like that, you actually could be green pretty frequently, because what I would do is start with risking small, and as I'm going redder and redder, I just keep going until, like, even if I'm green like $200 by the end of the day, but I almost hit my max loss, I'm satisfied, like I traded well. But eventually you blow that up. So the biggest thing for me was just accepting that a red day it is impossible for me not to have a red day. So on the days that the market's not going to give me money, I just have to deal with it, bro. And that's and I still fuck up. I think I hit my full daily loss limit once with these accounts, which is 4.5K. I guess a blow up day, but luckily the daily loss limit is only a soft breach on futures firms. But other than that, my red days are pretty much contained. They're not insane. They're either similar to my green days or a little bit less. And I think that's been a major factor for me.
Fantastic, man. Your trading is proving to be really consistent. I know for me, I've always been able to trade, like the longest period I've really been able to trade well for is up to about 1 month. So on the fourth week, usually things start to get, start to build up mentally. And then after that fourth week, things do turn around. So you've proven week over week over week and month over month that, you can continue that consistency with it, which is definitely a testament, man, to how far you've come with trading. It's really, really good to see, because as a discretionary trader, there's more than just the strategy. There's more than just the market conditions. There's so many other variables, life variables, mental variables that can affect your trading. And keeping those all on that fine balance is an art form. And you've done it well.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's the hardest part, man. Like the technical analysis is great. I mean, you do need to know good technicals, and you are an amazing technical analyst. Like you really are.
Thanks, man.
The hardest part is just like accepting that you just can't make money every goddamn day. And it seems so easy in theory, but it's just not. It's not actually that easy. At least for me.
No. Yeah, it's not.
But what I'm thinking here, we're kind of in a tough spot, man. Because let's actually go to the higher time frame, get your perspective on what you think. I mean, bro, I've been bearish all week personally.
Yeah.
Even though at the end of the day, we've really just been in a range, but like let me go to the NQ. I think it's a little more clear. The main thing in reference to the NQ is this daily fair value gap, right? And I know you had this marked out. We were both looking at it.
Yes, we did.
This daily premium fair value gap, which is just below the all-time highs. Now, I think, and I don't think, I think you probably agree with me that we're probably going to all-time highs sooner than later when we're this close. But when we're at like a really strong bearish PD array, you got to expect some type of pullback most of the time. And we've had a really nice reaction, even though it's pretty choppy and rangy. It's still like, as soon as we tap in, really nice reaction. And basically my thought process is we've just been building up low resistance liquidity. I know we kind of swept out this low, but just barely. I think we kind of want to make one more run towards these lows at least. So that's kind of been my thought process. I think on the ES, it looks even better. Like these are pretty much equal lows right here on the ES. Again, not perfect. I guess they would be relative equal lows. We did sweep it briefly, but I don't know. Something's telling me when we are in that deep of a premium and we hit like a daily bearish fair value gap that I just think we want to take one more run at these lows at least. So I've been bearish all week and it's been proving to be profitable, but I will say it's been tough. Like the price action has just been tough.
Yep.
Yesterday, I was short on stream on ASFX TV, and it was one of those things where I was in the short for like 4 hours and it wasn't going anywhere. And then finally, in like a couple of 5-minute candles, it ran to my TP. But it was stressful to hold it. And today was like a similar story, man. Like I was right on the overall bias, but I just they made it really difficult getting there. That's been my experience.
Yep, absolutely. No, I definitely can agree with that, man. The price action has been a little bit more tricky. You got to be really a little bit more patient just for the right moment because the trades have been there. It's just a matter of they're not everywhere. So, and they're a little bit at odd times sometimes. And with things that have been going on in the markets, it's very easy to get caught up in taking a trade when the conditions are wrong, trying to take a trade too far when the conditions are just showing that's probably not going to happen. So, especially for my sessions, they haven't been providing the normal types of opportunities that I would go for. So, that's just how it is. But we, like I was saying, I think the opportunities still have been there, but you got to look at them a little bit differently. So, look, I've developed some form of idea for what might happen today. I think it's a little bit different.
You want to get your screen up? We can take a look.
Yeah. Let's take a look. It's a little bit different to yours, actually. So,
let me just make sure I get it up. This is a new streaming platform, guys. So, okay, cool. That was easy enough. There you go.
Right. So I haven't taken a trade yet, but I was looking at this earlier on. So first thing I like to do is look at the ranges that we're in, because there's ranges on like every time frame. We've got this larger one here, this is in range inside a range, and then there's one even on a smaller time frame. On this range here, from here to here, we did come down into the discount of it. This was on Wednesday, which ended up being the low of that push, and then to come up again into that point of control during the New York session that we just had. And now what we've done is we've come to have that push down. But what you would expect is displacement through that low. If I take this off for a second, you're going to find what's happened here is this low here, for example, we displaced through it, which is good. It showed a lower low, but we haven't done that. We haven't done that here. What actually happened is we actually came into the discount of that range, and then we didn't displace the low. So if we come into the discount and then don't displace on the next push down, or we show some form of resistance on the next push down, it's kind of showing me that we potentially are looking to have a push above this high at least. I don't know if it will end up being a breakthrough, but potentially a push above that high. So where I've put line in this potential target area is the previous point of control.
Okay.
But the entry point that I'll be looking at is I like to see rejections from within a wick. So if we go out to the 30, for example, I mentioned it before how I like wicks. So wicks at the end of a zone, for example, like would have been somewhere like here, seeing a rejection and push through out of it. And in the same way here, this rejection out of this wick right here. So I would have ideally been looking to enter as the market was opening earlier on today, or before the market sort of opened. So ideally we're getting on a lower time frame, and I'm looking at that wick, and I'm getting a precise entry right in there. But obviously that's not what happened. I only popped onto the computer a little bit later, but that would have been the lowest risk entry, because we don't know what to expect when we pop out of these wicks. Like when we popped out of this wick, for example, I mean, that was also in a discount, but then that popped up and then came back down again for another run. So that was which was also in the discount of this range. So we don't know what to expect of it. It could come up a little bit into the premium here and then fall back down again, or it could continue up. To me, it looks this wick wasn't holding really at like the major point of support of this overall range, whereas this one it's come down into the major low area, which is where things usually reject from. So what I would look for, the reason why I'd be scared, like not really looking at shorts, is that when reversals happen, they'd usually go from there to there, the bottom of there, and then they look like that. You can sweep, you can reject there, you can sometimes reject there, but this is like the most common place to reject. So for me to short here would be a no-go, personally.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So that would what it'd be looking for in the lower time frame. On the higher time frame, we're looking at this. There is a fair value gap here. I don't know. I'll to be honest with you, man, I don't really value in this 8-hour fair value gap quite highly. It looks like more so we're in a ranging sort of environment.
Yeah,
we have been
are.
for a little bit. Yeah.
For sure.
So that's where people sort of can get trapped up in these higher time frame. Looking at this fair value gap, like that to me is nonsense.
Yeah, like you're saying, like a higher time frame inversion inside of like just a choppy mess.
It does
not necessarily mean anything, because we're ranging. We're just going to go from the top to the bottom in the extremes.
Yeah. And just the same way, what I was mentioning, how price action works on that lower time frame. If we look on this time frame, we had the range from here to here. We rejected from the low, which is what you would expect, but then we also rejected from the high. So when this happened here, when we had this rejection from the low and from the high, and now we're bouncing in between the middle here, for me, the conditions became less than good, because ideally, we're maybe getting slow at this high and then pushing through again. But that's not what happened. We reject from inside this wick, we've come down again, and now we've had this being, let's say, the main range, the main most recent range on this time frame, rejected from the high and rejected from the low. So, that makes plays all in the middle here just a little bit haywire, and it makes this range unusable. So, that's why, so that's why, plays now only really make sense on the lower time frame. So I'm not looking on the 4-hour, I'm not looking on the 8-hour, starting everything on the 1 hour, and then we have some sort of workable range, and that's what I end up seeing. So,
so are you in the long right now?
No, I'm not in the long.
Okay.
Because ideally I would have got the entry from like I said, within wick there. Like as soon as we this one, as soon as we like maybe got this inverted 5-minute outside of the wick, I would have liked to enter here. So if we come down here, I could consider entering again, because if we come down to break even. But at the moment, I'm not in the long, because as we went live, it sort of had pushed up again, so I didn't want to chase that trade. But yeah, I would consider entering if it came down to this price point, which it looks like it's coming. So
yeah, it does.
So that's pretty much what I'm looking at now. I might look at scoping up position.
Fair enough.
But for me, it's long, man. So let
me get my screen up.
I was going to say, I'd love to see your charts now.
So, I mean, I'm not going to lie, man. Part of me just thinks that what we're going to do first is come down and sweep out these lows and sweep out previous day's low. I think we kind of left these lows here. And to me, I just don't see why, like, if this is the objective, I just feel like this is a clear objective. So part of me, I was really tempted to just have a limit order set inside this little 15-minute fair value gap.
Just go, yeah.
Yeah, because it's also rejecting previous day's value area low. The reason I'm not taking it is we are way below our previous day's point of control and we have not engaged it yet. So the thing about that, what that means to me is that there's an 80% chance that we are going to, like, MQ is going to make its way back up to about 22,000 today at some point. I mean, it doesn't have to be now. We could want to come down and sweep previous day's low first, sweep out this low, and maybe then we just get a full-blown range reversal. Like, then we just get a move back up to the top of the range. That's totally feasible. But one of my biggest strengths lately is just following momentum. Like today's trade actually was very much the opposite of following momentum. I spotted a reversal and like I got short up here at the top. But, with reversal trades, the thing is, guys, you're going to lose more trades than you win, like by a lot most of the time, because at the end of the day, you are going against momentum. Now, the beauty of reversal trades, though, is you can capture very high risk reward. You don't need a 50, 60, 70, 80% win rate when you're trading a reversal setup, because that reversal setup, the whole point of it is that it should give you a high R multiple. And at the end of the day, there's no right or wrong. You could either trade with a high win rate and a low R multiple, or you can trade with a low win rate and a high R multiple. I'm somewhere in between these days. I go back and forth. It depends on the setup. So for reversal trades, I can catch those high R multiple trades. When I'm following momentum, I'm usually going for way lower, like 1.5, 2R. I'm more focused on like a lower time frame idea. And that's kind of what this idea would have been. Like now in hindsight, it's like, oh man, I probably should have took it, but it doesn't really matter. I'm not feeling much FOMO, but these are the type of trades I really like. So at the end of the day, we're really just kind of tightening, but we haven't gotten any kind of reversal signal, right? Like we have this, this is the most nearest fair value gap. We did not inverse it at all. Market came in, rejected. And now we're just retesting another fair value gap. And like these momentum, especially when it gets really tight right here, like it just makes sense to me for us to just like take out this wick low. But I might miss it. But that's the thing. What I would love to see is for us to not just slam down here right away. And it would be great. And I was hoping I would see something like this for us to actually get like one more manipulation move up and then bring her down. But we might just, because sometimes it's like, the thing is with these types of trades, sometimes I'm like, this would be too easy for me to just get short in here and it just goes. But sometimes it does play like that. So
interesting. We're definitely sitting on the other side of the fence today, man. We've done this before where we've had that big down push, and the next day in Asia we just take that low. It's just that is a classic for us, but it's a little bit more difficult today just because of that range that we're in, that where we're really just that low that you're looking at is right at like a key support area where we bounced from, and now it's sort of like holding. It's to me it's such a hard pill to swallow to say that's going to be the target. I can't.
What, previous day's low?
Yeah, just because of where we are.
This is where I think I guess we trade, because we do have we don't trade exactly the same. We definitely have differences. For me, I just feel like this bounce is not like it's not a convincing bounce to me, even from an hourly perspective. Like we've created no displacement, no fair value gap. It's just a bit of nothing, right? No, there's no bullish. But a big thing for me is focusing on those fair value gaps. Like I try to stick with whatever direction the market is creating fair value gaps in. So that's a big thing for me. And that, because that's what shows displacement for me. So here, when we bounced, one of the reasons this in hindsight looked really nice for higher for the next few hours is because we did create displacements when we did it. We created a 15-minute fair value gap, retapped, went higher. So this is why I love fair value gaps, because they give levels to trade off of, but they also give indication of, whatever you would want to call it, like market makers, institutional order flow, whatever. It gives more indication that there's actually going to be some weight behind a move. And on top of that, it gives me a line in the sand because I can say, okay, now I have a line in the sand. I'm going to use this level. And as long as we don't get below here, I'll stick to the long bias to follow this current momentum. And then obviously I try to pair that up with like a draw in liquidity, like a target that makes sense. But yeah, so for me, this move right here,
I like that.
yeah, for me, like for just watching where the market is creating fair value gaps is big. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, we don't have any 5-minute fair value gaps in here. So for me, I just say, okay, business as usual until we take liquidity. But what could happen is maybe we just sweep out this low or sweep out this low, and then maybe we create an SMT divergence with ES, and then maybe we create a bullish fair value gap and get, go way above. Then I could be like that long idea could still totally play out.
Yep. Let's have a look at ES. Actually, I might pull it up.
Yeah, I'll get your chart up.
You can open it up. I'm just going to open up on my screen as well. But you've got your share on your screen, so you may as well.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But I'm interested to see what it looks like there, and I might even pull up the SMT indicator on mine. You still look at ES a fair bit, right?
Oh yeah, man. I'm trading ES probably like 70% of the time, actually.
Oh, okay.
I'm like more of an ES trader these last couple of months.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Right,
is there an SMT? No SMT
like
that I see.
No.
NQ looks a little more like it got a little bit better of a bounce though than ES. ES really did a whole lot of nothing on that little move up.
Yeah.
See, this is another thing though. We kind of got, I feel pretty damn confident we'll at least take these lows because now we got like relative equal lows here, lack of displacement, also fair value gap in here that held. So I feel like,
I think
boom.
I think how you read the market there was great, man. I'm seeing it.
I will say though, I will say though that I think there is probably going to be a long setup at some point, maybe not in this session within the hour, but we have opened up way below previous day's point of control. And it's one of my favorite setups, the 80% setup.
Yeah.
So, I mean, high probability that there will be a long, but I just think we need to sweep some relevant liquidity. I think previous day's low would be a really good draw. Maybe we create an SMT divergence there. Maybe NQ doesn't sweep previous day's low, but ES does, something like that.
Yeah.
Then we get displacement to the upside.
Yeah, man, I definitely see that. That makes so much sense. We're going to sweep that relevant liquidity first, and we're still in that nice support area if we do that. So that I was looking at on the left. So I'll be pretty keen on re-looking at that long trade once that does happen. But like you said, you want to look at the move. You see it?
Yep. Man, wish I took it. Damn.
Yep.
Look at that. So beautiful. I mean, hey, we called it out though.
You did.
I think previous day's low is probably going to happen. At least this low on the NQ 21.8, 21.880. That's going to happen.
Yeah.
Let's see, how many ticks is it from here to here? I just don't want to rush it. Dude, we're really moving. So I know it looks like we're not doing much, but from current price to previous day's low is like almost 50 points. So you can capture a move even though it looks like there's not much happening. Like this little move here, it's 200 ticks. That's $1,000 on one contract.
I wouldn't go short. You're gonna okay, but for me, because now we've hit like the 50% of that wick. I don't know. We're probably gonna get a bit of a bounce up here.
Oh, I'm not going short here. I'm just saying though, like this move that we just got, like it looks like it not much, but this is 200 ticks on the NQ.
Yeah.
Like there's volatility. It's definitely, you could catch a move. Like you can definitely find some trades tonight.
Well, that's the sort of move you need to look for though in these market conditions. You don't want to push targets, right? So even getting out, like I saw sometimes earlier this week, something that you've done well is getting out. Like if you're targeting previous day low, you get out, at the consolidation that happened just before the previous day's low. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it's much better. Um,
Dude, 100%.
much,
Not trying to force like your will for it to hit exactly where you want it to hit is huge, bro.
yeah,
That
especially
was
in
a
these
big, that
conditions,
was a
man.
big problem for me for a long time. It was
Yeah,
always like either my original full target or nothing. And it's like,
yeah,
can't live like that. The market's not going to give that to you all the time. You might be right on the general directional bias, but you're not always going to be right on your exact target. And you just
yeah,
got to know how to capitalize off what the market does give you. Look at this. I
yep,
can't believe I missed this. God
yeah,
damn.
man. Unfortunately, it was brilliantly read by you, man, on this one. I have to admit,
Yeah,
I have to, t-
unfortunately, that doesn't pay us.
I have to pay attention to that a lot more when assessing my bias, like what direction the fair value gaps are being created in.
Yeah, dude, it's huge for
So,
me. Huge.
yeah, yeah, because that's especially when you're pairing that up with a um, you know, well, clear structure and clear liquidity point. You really had everything that you would look for anyway in the way that you trade to take that setup. Fair value,
Yeah.
fair value gaps, trend, clear doll. You're just going for that, aren't you? Every day of the week, but not today.
Yeah, missed it today. I do want to find an Asia trade though, because I feel like, I mean, New York session is going to be nothing. There's no opportunities in New York session tomorrow. There'll be nothing because
Yep.
we're going to close up at 1 o'clock. I mean, dude, this is the problem. We're 1000% we're going to take previous day's low. It's just you can't get short here because we could easily pull back, 40 points and then the trade's still valid. So looks like we're just going to miss it, and that just is what it is. But yeah, previous day's low incoming in just a moment.
Yeah. But here's the thing, man. Like, if I was going to go long, right? Do I necessarily want to take a long just from the previous day's low? Not necessarily. I usually would like to pair it up with a volume profile level, but we don't have a volume profile level. We have one from Friday, so literally last Friday, nearly a week
Oh
ago.
my God. We might be getting like a sell off.
Yeah. So that look at that, man. I'm so sorry, bro. That's what a trade.
Yeah,
And
there might be
yeah,
more moves tonight. I don't know. I think what this means, if we get like no displacement back to the upside here, like this is a big thing for me. My entire narrative for the market is all it's ever doing is hunting liquidity, right? So it's going from old highs to old lows. So
yeah,
if we get a lack of displacement here, then the next short is to here, and it looked at 6,000. And this is framed with my overall bias that I think we're ultimately coming here. I think we want to sweep out these lows before any higher. Um, so if we can get a good pullback, this is where now I just follow the fair value gaps. So we
you
got a
trade
nice,
lower.
yeah, I would look for lower for sure.
Yep.
Um, but I would like a pullback, maybe a pullback into this 5 minute. That could be nice.
Hello, Tyler. How you doing, my man?
Yo, brother, what up? He told me he was gonna be hopping in. How you doing, man? I caught some of your stream this morning. It was good, man. I watched Tyler take like a fire long on the Nasdaq. It was funny because he was taking the longs while I was short, and I just had to turn the stream off. I was like, God damn it, this kid is going directly against my bias, and he's totally beating me. But I did end up catching a winning short, bro. I was talking about it in the chat. I caught a winning short, but I did take a couple L's first.
Yep. Yep. And he ended up on the day, which is a brilliant part
Yes,
about it when you manage your risk well.
exactly. Yeah, Tyler, this was the short I ended up catching later. So I took a couple L's on that run up where you were long, and then got short one more time at 22.85 on NQ and held it to the lows. So it was a really nice trade at the end of the day. Yeah, he caught a banger on stream though.
So well done.
Oh my God, bro.
Well done. So, to me, we're nearly coming to where the end of the move is on probably another 46, 47 ticks to the downside. I'm looking at I'll show you where I'm looking because you caught a banger one. Good on you, Tyler. Well done there.
Oh, Tyler, yeah, you close your trades at 12 p.m. no matter what. Is that because do you think we tend to get reversals there or like mean reversion? That's funny. You know what I've noticed, bro? I don't know if you've noticed this, Aiden, because you probably don't trade New York session as much, but
No.
bro, I swear, like I do not do that well in the first hour of the New York session. Like so from 9:30 to 10:30, not my best time to trade. I usually find my setup like right after, basically like from 10:30 to 11 a.m. is when my best setups occur.
Yeah, that would make a lot of sense, man. Well, especially if you're a Nasdaq trade. I think we've chat with Greg about this before as well. Depending on how the market's moving, especially when it's moving a lot, if you want to trade the Nasdaq during US Open, a lot of the time it is just too much. If you want to be
Facts.
like maybe ES a little bit better,
I love
Nasdaq's better
ES for that
than
reason
Asia
lately.
because Asia, maybe you want Nasdaq to actually need a little bit of gas, which actually today it looks like ES had some gas as well, but usually Nasdaq seems to move a little bit more during these sessions.
Yeah, I'm with you.
But
I think NQ is a little nicer for the Asia session because you actually can capitalize off that extra bit of volatility. But
yeah,
in the New
whereas
York session, ES is all you need, bro.
it's crazy. Drive sellers, then we had that A plus inversion, insane trade. Yeah, that's good. Today had a huge long bias in the morning due to yeah.
Oh, yeah, J-Man. He had a previous day's point of control, was
Yeah,
not engaged. He caught the long up to the POC. Beautiful, bro. I love that.
yeah,
Dude,
well done.
this is what I love, man. People have like actually been starting to use my concepts because that whole previous day's point of control 80% setup thing. I mean, don't
Great
get me
one.
wrong. I learned it from a crypto trader, but
Yep.
I really made it my own thing. And I like coined the phrase 80% setup. And I love, dude, it's such a cool feeling seeing people actually utilize like the concepts that I'm pretty much made for myself, like with obviously education from people, but twisted and manipulated it into a way that works for me. And like seeing people actually like subscribe to my YouTube and learn from it and go, yo, I'm using this now. It's really helpful. It's fucking sick.
Yeah.
It really is a sick feeling, bro.
Yeah. It's so good, man. Well, it does work really well. So huge props to you there. I've got a level here. So here's the thing, man. So these sort of market environments, it's like
Hey,
it's
let's get
hard
your
to
screen
say.
up.
Yeah, just for a little bit.
There you go.
You can. My screen's up.
Yes.
So I zoom out, you can sort of see the range happening from here to here to here. See, we're just tops and bottoms, right, at the moment. No real breakout from here to here. But this particular range that we're playing with, right, from here to here, we're looking at, well, obviously this is going from a little intermediate trend down and down. Now it's having taken out the previous day's low. Rather than going long from here, this would be a level that I'd be more looking at because how we use volume profile a little bit differently. I would look at previous days. I'd have the day profile multiple days back. Within this range, we actually have a value area low that hasn't been tested. This one's from Friday. So in the discount of this range, and after the previous day's low was taken there, you could potentially look for a long scalp out of there. But this is the next interesting level that I have. But ultimately, man, like you said, without seeing the fair value gaps to the other side, you're just looking for a reversal, and you're fighting the trends. You have to expect that potentially it just can get run through. But this would be the next interesting level that I have that I would look at. And if something presented on the lower time frame, and you can get in early enough, you can at least catch a bounce, that would be it. Rather than just getting from the previous day's low. So I know maybe you would, but for me, yeah, it looks just a little bit lower.
No,
I'd be
honestly,
interested.
man, this could be the spot. I'll pull my screen back up, and I'm also going to show
Yep.
DeWinder my settings. He's asking about my volume profile settings, but
Definitely ETH.
yeah, definitely ETH, brother, 1000%.
Definitely.
Don't use RTH. But this is where I'm conflicted now, because we swept an hourly swing point, right? We swept liquidity. It's also previous day's low.
Yes,
Part
sir.
of me thinks like we might be coming for here, but now if we're going to continue the range, I actually think longs could make a lot of sense. But what I would be waiting for is a 5-minute inversion. So if we got a nice 5-minute closure above this bearish fair value gap, so like a closure above 60.30 on the ES, then I could understand a long bias, especially because we have the previous day's point of control above us. So we have the 80% setup in play again. We have low resistance liquidity built up here in the form of all these stacked lows. So that could happen. But part of me also thinks like, I could just follow trend and try and catch a short inside a retrace of this fair value gap. So what I'll do is wait for the reaction in here. If I wait for the reaction, so wait for a retest, then I could go down to the 1 minute and, try to formulate what the structure is doing. I can make a decision in the moment. I mean, that's what intraday trading is, right? It's like making a decision in the moment that makes the most sense in managing risk. So we'll see. But for now, it's either, for me, it's wait for us to engage this gap because I think we're likely to do so. Or if you're someone that is very bullish for higher time frame, you could try to turtle soup this sweep, which is, if you guys are unfamiliar with turtle soup, it's an ICT thing. It's basically means taking a risk entry where you don't have the confirmation signal you're looking for yet, but you're trying to essentially get into a long, in this case, underneath a liquidity pool, anticipating the reversal early. Obviously, you're going to have a lower win rate with like a turtle soup type of model, but kind of goes back to what we were talking about, reversals versus continuation moves.
Yeah.
You can get a very high risk reward. So it's all trade-off. So like a turtle soup would be just longing somewhere in here, or just like longing on the first presented inversion fair value gap, which would have been here, because we inverted this 1 minute gap. This would be like an aggressive long entry, scalp maybe up to the 5 minute gap. But again, that's not something I'm interested in.
Yeah, that'll be a difficult one to justify.
Yeah, no, I'm not into it. But if you're really bullish, you could be trying to look for that, but I'm not into that. I do think we're so likely to come up to the point of control though. We really are. So it could happen. And if the market just wants to continue to range, we have a bank holiday tomorrow. Maybe we don't do anything much more aggressive. Like maybe this was the liquidity sweep for the night, and now we do grind our way up.
Yeah, man. Once the main objective has been taken, especially a major objective during the Asia session, how much more can you really expect? Even if we do start to move up from here, we might move up and then pull back. So sometimes 100%. I'll get, that's right. So sometimes I'll get, would use previous weekly point of control. Yes, DeWinder. I do anyway. I don't know if
I was going to say, that's a question for you, bro. If you want to go over that.
Yep. I definitely would.
All right, let's get back to your screen. Do you want to go to your screen?
Yeah, for sure. And I'll continue that point as well. Once, for example, like if I was looking for a long here, I'm going to have to be
there we go. Okay, let me get your screen up.
So
you're good.
I'd have to be fully prepared to say that this is when the type of trades that I'll take. Okay, so previous day was taken, look for a trade in another direction. A bit later in the Asian session, I might get a little bit of a run up, then it will come back down to break even, and then it will go up again, then back down to break even again. And you have to be willing to endure that, especially after the main point of control was taken and you've already had a decent move during Asia. It's just how it is. And that's what happens with me sometimes. I'll get into a trade, around this time, and then I'll have to hold it through to London or, maybe even the start of New York. But during that time, I'll have like 2 or 3 break even taps which can catch me out sometimes. But yeah, let's take a look at the weekly volume profiles, which is, look, man, I like to follow volume profiles when, like, let's say this was good because we got moving up on the point of control. It made these levels quite nice. So I've spoken about this before with Zach, right? When you're looking at these volume profile levels, they work really well when the market environment's right. See, this one we just had. This point of control is coming a little bit lower, so it sort of means that, okay, do I really want to be using point of control right now? No, not as much as I would have been, say here, value area high, boom, hit it, right? And that was tapped again there. We had the value area, which also sort of lined up the value area low, turning this into sort of a workable range, which ended up rejecting multiple times, as the point of control was moving up from the previous weeks. But, it's now that, we're sort of getting this consolidation, this could potentially mean that we're looking to start to break some of these major levels, potentially. So, but it's a little bit less clear. Even here, if we go back even further again, point of control moved up, point of control moved up, point of control moved up. And, the weekly level here ended up getting rejected. You have to be prepared, though, to, when you have displacement like this, that you might have a little bit of push through. But as soon as you started to break above this level here and, invert some fair value gaps on the lower time frame, this being the 2-hour chart, you could have potentially looked for longs, and that would have been a great point to hold. Even this one, value area low on the weekly, look how well that held, right? And that one was even better because that had a confluence of a fair value gap. So can you see what I mean? When the point of controls are moving higher in those trending environments, these value area lows and value area highs, or particularly value area lows in these, ends up being good points of support. Point of controls end up being good targets. Highs end up being good targets. But that's how I would typically use them to sort of frame the trade. But again, you have to be prepared to look at them in the right market conditions.
Yeah.
Because if we look here, we went from down, and then up. Well, yeah, it went from there. And look, this one was never hit because the point of control went from down to up, and then this level was never really became a good level. It's because the point of controls were shifting. So in a shifting market environment, they're not really the best levels. This one ended up being the point of control was a good level for a reversal point. This value area high wasn't hit. This one, there was a bit of run through as it sort of went through. So you can see more often than not, they do provide good levels if the market environments are trending. Either the point of controls or the value area highs, value area lows. This one was a low volume node, which I would hardly trade from on the weekly. So this one in particular, this week, none of these levels ended up becoming useful, right? So that's going to happen as well. Have to be prepared for that. So that's why I don't trade them exclusively. But for the most part, yeah, man, great level. We had great levels for multiple weeks in a row here. Yeah, so that's what I have to share on that.
Yeah, I love it, man. Yeah, great explanation. Dawinder, let us know if that helps you out at all. Also, guys, anyone watching, I greatly appreciate a like on the video. It helps the algorithm. Try to remember to remind people of that. Helps me out if you like these streams. Hopefully more people can, get recommended it. But we have retested this 5-minute bearish gap, right? But like I said, this is the thing. The short idea here that we called out made a lot of sense because we did not sweep any liquidity yet. But now that we've swept liquidity, and in theory, we've kind of met the bearish objective potentially. We've swept out previous day's low. Looking for another short, even though we're following this momentum, it goes from like right here, it was like a B setup. What made this not an A setup is just the fact that it was a really shallow pullback, but it was inside a 15-minute fair value gap. So I would classify it as a B setup because we had a clear draw on liquidity, all of these stacked lows and previous day's low. But now, even though not much else has changed, I mean, we had a nice displacement move down. we're rebalancing a 5-minute bearish fair value gap. This setup, like an idea for a short in here to go lower now, is much lower probability simply because we've swept liquidity. That's a big thing. That's a big thing that will help you not try to chase ideas, because even though all of this makes sense and it could work, it's lower probability once the market has met its objective. Because again, if you're trading any type of SMC or ICT concepts, like that's the whole purpose. The market is traveling from old highs and old lows to sweep liquidity and rebalance inefficiencies. Now that objective has been taken, there's less narrative for why it's going to go lower. And it still can, don't get me wrong. Like this is the thing now. We could be coming for this low next and then this low. But after we sweep an hourly swing point, we could get a deeper pullback. We could totally come up and take all this out now. So yeah, I want to take the trade, but I'm not going to short the first retest of a fair value gap after we've swept an hourly liquidity pool.
So is that what it comes down to then? You're not going to trade the first retest, but you're going to wait for price to settle and either find acceptance through that fair value gap or to find acceptance out of that fair value gap, maybe with 2 or 3 5-minute candles. Is that what you're going to be looking for?
Yeah, the thing is, like, I would love to take the short and short down to 828, but I just think unless we're going to get like a massive sell-off night, which is probably a little unlikely in the Asia session, it could happen, but it's less likely now. This might have been the objective for the Asia session complete. Now, an inversion here, so a closure above this 5-minute gap after sweeping liquidity could provide a long idea. Like maybe
more valid, isn't it?
Yeah, like let's say we get the closure above here on NQ above 22,918. Maybe then I could put a limit order somewhere inside here and hope for a retest, put on the long tool. And then we could look for either this objective, this next liquidity pool, or again, I mean, we do have an 80% setup in play. So this is where you could have like a higher time frame idea and look for the engagement of that previous day's point of control.
Yeah, it's interesting, man, because the way that you look at playing it makes sense, but it's just like if you were to go for that 80% rule, although you have the point of control up there, right? Meaning the rule is in play. If you wait for that 5-minute inversion and then you enter, the risk to reward, man, is only like 1.8. And on a reversal play, you're still really fighting the major for value gaps. You're only really you're inverting the one in the middle. You've still got a fair value gap on that 5-minute range, a premium one. That wouldn't have been inverted. You see what I mean? Up there.
Up here? Yeah.
That one. Yep. Which is the premium one. So 100%. You haven't inverted the premium fair value gap. You've inverted only the one in the middle of the range. Yeah, you've taken the main you've taken the main liquidity point, the previous day's low, but how badly do you want to fight the main fair value gaps and the main trend to be 100%. Able to get that level of risk reward? Yeah. If you're going to take that risk, the reward has to be there, in my opinion.
100%. So 2 things on that. Number one, I agree ultimately. So one explanation to that statement is simply, even if the idea might work, maybe you just don't take it because you're not going to get good risk reward, even if you feel like it's a good trade. I mean, like, because it might be a good trade in the sense of probabilities of it playing out, but if you're not going to get a good risk reward, then maybe that outweighs the probability of the idea. That's one.
Yeah.
Number 2, though, this is why I love getting in on limit orders on pullbacks, because what I can do is if we do get that inversion, let's say a closure above 918, right? And then maybe we've also created some structure here on the 5 or 1 minute where there's like an unmitigated bullish fair value gap as well. Maybe then I could kind of narrow down an area to set a limit order, and maybe my limit order can go somewhere like here in the midpoint of the inversion and get like that kind of break and retest idea. Then, and this is where I trade a bit differently. I don't like the coherent idea would be your stop needs to go to the nearest swing low. That's just not how I play stop losses. I like to look for internal structure and go with tighter
Mm-hmm.
stops because I'm okay with taking a paper cut or two, to get my
There you
idea.
go.
So like the way that I would end up framing this out if it worked, it'd be something like this. I mean, again, we don't have the other information and we don't even know if this is going to become a setup, but it would be something where like, if I can get a limit order somewhere lower, be patient and wait for that retest, because 9 out of 10 times the market is not going to just go straight into profit for me, especially if I'm getting in at the market on an upswing if I'm looking for a long. Sometimes I miss trades waiting for my limit order, but I swear like if I'm being realistic, 8 out of 10 times, I'm going to get that minor pullback on, a little upswing or a downswing. And I could get filled here, and maybe my stop could be somewhere here where there's internal structure that makes sense. And now if I'm looking for, like, we got some equal highs right here on the 1 minute, that could be a good target. Now I'm looking at like 2.5R and the trade makes sense. So
that's right.
Yeah, it all depends. But I totally understand what you're saying. Like, let's say you're going with a classic inversion entry and you're just getting in on a 5-minute closure above here and you want to put your stop here. Now you're not getting much. Is that worth it? If you're a 1R type of trader, maybe it is worth it. I don't really like looking for 1R. I like looking for at least 2, 1.8 to 2R at least most of the time.
Yep. Absolutely, man. I really like that explanation. Great way of framing it. And what I take from that is you're always thinking about the risk when you enter, right? You're thinking, okay, how much do I need to risk on this trade, and how can I frame my entry for this particular setup for the risk to make sense? I'm not just going to enter because the setup's there, but I have to work with the price action that's available. Do I need to wait for a pullback? Do I need to be able to accept the fact that I'm going to need to wait for price to potentially retrace to a point where the risk does make sense, and then have a tighter stop on that, underneath that fair value gap? Yeah, I like it.
Facts. Also, Andrew just came into the chat, said you've just been watching till now. What up, brother? Welcome. But we'll see, man. Like, again, another way we could actually just be looking for the short in here, because we still don't know, is simply maybe we create like a slight 1-minute bearish SMT divergence. That could be an added confluence that maybe could help me out with just looking for a continuation. But as of right now, we don't got anything like that.
Zach, I'm going to be back in a minute, all right?
No problem. But yeah, guys, I mean, we missed this amazing short, but it's just the way it goes sometimes. How is anyone who's watching? How is your FOMC? Let me know if you were green or red today. Green or red. While we're waiting for some of this action to play out, I'll probably stream for at least another 20 minutes. Hopefully we can find something. We can go over my Tradeify accounts. But yeah, let me know if you are green or red for the day. And I'll go over this real quick. So these are my Tradeify accounts. Currently up total 15K. I'm trading 3 straight to fundeds. Here's my calendar. So I started these a few weeks ago. I've been trading them for a minute now. I started on, damn, that was my cat knocking over cups. But I started in the middle of May, so May 15th. And it's been going well. Out of, I think, like 22 trading days or 20 trading days, give or take, I've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 red days. So not too bad. Definitely putting up more green days than red days. We're net profitable, 15K. And so today was a bit tough for me. It was 1.1K total across 3 accounts. So not the craziest day. Also, Monday started off real rough, man. Not real rough. I mean, I didn't even hit a daily loss limit or anything, but was down 2.8, which is a bit more than I like to keep it at. I really want to ideally keep my losses like below 2,000 per day on these accounts, but it happens, man. But we're up on the week now. We're doing good. And we're real close to a payout. So that's the last thing. I need to get these accounts to 6,000, and I can request my first payout, and it'll be like 7.5K. So not a bad payout for June. If we can get that, I'm hoping I can get it locked in by the end of the week. We got 2 days left. Really, we got like a day and a half because market's going to close early tomorrow. That's why I was really hoping we could find a good trade in Asia, and then we don't even have to consider trading in New York, which might still happen. But if not, I still have Friday as well. So hopefully I could lock in this payout before the end of the week. That would be nice. But can't force it either, man. Okay, no SMT, but this fair value gap is kind of holding up as bearish for the time being. I've been so trigger shy during the Asia streams lately. I don't know why. I feel like I've called out quite a few moves and just not taken them the last couple of streams. So part of me just wants to go for this one, but this setup for everything I've just explained is so different than this setup, which is the first one I was eyeing. It's just so different because we've already swept liquidity. So even though I'm tempted to take it, man, I don't know. I don't know. Great explanation on weekly POC. Nice, Jeff. Glad you found some value in that. Yeah, man, Aiden is great with volume profile on the higher time frames. I love learning from him too because I don't really use the higher time frame profiles, right? Like if you know my trading, I really just stay focused on the previous days. So previous days point of control, value area low and value area high. I mean, it's literally all I need personally. But there's a lot of value that you can take from using higher time frame profiles. There's a lot. But when I go back to this short, man, this was my short on the previous day's point of control. Literally to the tick, we tapped it today. And that was the high day. And then we just dropped off. And I swear to God, man, the biggest analysis of this trade, like obviously I had a clear draw on liquidity. We had equal lows. I was talking about it all day. If you watch me on ASFX TV, I was talking about it. I took this trade on stream. But other than the fact that we had a clear draw on liquidity, the main purpose or the main confluence to this setup was the golden rule. If we're trading below the previous day's point of control, we look for shorts. If we're trading above, we look for longs. So once it was engaged and the 80% setup was filled, as soon as we started rejecting it, I was like, I'm sticking to the short bias as long as we're below the previous day's point of control. So yeah, it was a great trade, man. Really happy with that trade. And that's the thing too. So we have an 80% setup today as well. And we got some room. Like that's the thing. If you can get yourself a good long entry and you get the right spot, I mean, you got a lot of room up to the previous day's POC, like 100 points on the NQ, which is not bad. Not too shabby. You can definitely get some good risk reward here if you could play the right entry. The problem is we're fighting a lot of momentum to the downside here. The way we've been reacting inside this gap, though, for now, I'm definitely not interested in trying to take a short in here just yet because we're kind of just consolidating but grinding up into the gap further. Like as of right now, I think it's much more likely we at least take another swing high and take out this high based off the 1 minute, which means I have no interest in getting short here. And just because I'm like very confident that we'll at least swipe up one more time. So there's no reason for me to enter a short just yet. Yeah. If I was to even enter a short.
I see that, man. See how much their patience really pays off. Taking out that previous day's low, then coming, like you said, you're not going to take just that first touch into a fair value gap after that's already done. So, yeah. And for good reason. You can see right now. I mean, like you said, we're grinding, but price action it's also not moving as much. It's like the excitement's over a little bit.
Well, we swept liquidity. Narrative's done.
That's right. Narrative's done.
But that's the thing, man. Those first retaps into a fair value gap are amazing if you haven't swept liquidity yet. That's when you take those.
Yeah. Yep, that's right. But that context matters.
Yeah, very much. What were you going to say, though?
I was going to say if we looked at the news, what's for the rest of the week, because there's not really much, is there?
I don't think so. Let's see.
So after last night at FOMC,
We
we've
got
got.
nothing.
I'm looking. Yeah, there's an orange folder. Tomorrow, but
Yeah, I don't even pay
yeah,
attention to orange folder. I mean, we got no USD
yeah,
news, red folder for the rest of the
nothing.
week.
Yeah. So yeah, it's and like you said, today's an early day as well. So
Yeah. Yeah, no, today is like this might have been the best move that you're gonna find right here.
honestly, I think there's a good chance that's the best move for the day. Um, yeah,
Tyler
man.
says he hates holidays, bro. I feel you, man.
Yeah,
We're all such addicts, bro. Like I hate bank holidays, man. They piss me off.
yeah, man.
It's
When
like let
yeah,
me
when you're a
trade,
worker,
bro.
you're a worker. You need to be active, especially if you love the charts, man. Me too. I hate weekends for that reason.
Dude,
Like,
I only just recently started like enjoying weekends again. It took a lot of like I kind of forced myself to start being like, bro, you have to enjoy weekends again. Like you can't do this to yourself. So I do look forward to the weekend these days, but man, those bank holidays, they annoy me because I just feel like I'm missing out on like on a weekday. It's like I should be trading. This is bullshit.
yeah,
Oh,
I'm
here we
with you,
go.
man.
Ooh, did we just put in an SMT? Again, it's like it's so low volume now all of a sudden, but I think we just put in a slight SMT. Tyler says, let me degen in peace. I feel you, bro. I need to blow 61 top step accounts like that guy on Twitter. Bro, Aiden, this was so funny, man. Let me see if I can find this post. This shit was so funny.
Tell me.
Where is it? I know it's here somewhere.
61 top step accounts.
This
Some
dude was
people
like,
are
so this trader was like complaining about they got temporarily, they didn't even get bans, but Top Step basically told them like they're doing this new thing where if they think you're trading too much or like buying too many accounts, they actually limit you. So this guy was limited to one account per month. All right. Which sounds it sounds bad. It sounds like, what are they doing? That sounds fucked up until you read the email. And it says, after reviewing your recent activity, we noticed within a short period of time, you activated 20 express funded accounts and failed 61 accounts after only one trading day. That's a high rate compared to traders who are having success at the live funded level. So this dude blew 20, no, not 21, 61 accounts in one day. I think
but he
that dude
funded 20.
probably needs to be limited. I think he has a problem, bro.
Yeah, but he funded 20.
This is ridiculous.
But
This was my comments. I thought it was pretty funny.
but
61 blown accounts is criminally insane behavior. Dude needs a break.
but but hey, let's actually think about it. With 20 funded accounts, he could make that money back pretty easily from
You know
61
what?
accounts.
That's his mindset, but he blew all 20 of them. So I think he's cooked, bro.
Oh, did he blow all 20 of the funded
He
accounts
blew
as
all
well?
his accounts. Yeah.
Because he said he blew the challenge accounts. I don't know whether he blew the funded ones or just left them there.
I'm thinking that
Because
the 20
he activated.
yeah, but I'm thinking that 20 express funded accounts is included in this 61 and in this 61 number. That's my thought
Yeah,
process, at least.
yeah. Even a blind squirrel finds a nut every now and again. Yeah.
I
The
mean,
thing
bro,
though, like, yeah,
61 is crazy. I've
yeah, that's a
never
lot.
purchased 61 evals in a day. That's just crazy, bro.
It's pretty nuts, man.
Yeah, me and
Um,
Tyler were cracking up at that.
well,
Giancarlo, what up, brother? Good to see you, man. Yeah, we got a slight SMT, but I don't know, man. I got nothing. Maybe this would have worked if we just took a risk entry in the fair value gap, but I don't feel too confident about it. I just don't know what I'm targeting now. You know what I'm saying? Like
just
I got no
just feel
target.
about think about how you would have felt if you took the short and it lost. You would have been like, I'm an idiot. The doll was taken.
Exactly.
Whereas if it worked out, you've been like, yeah, it was a decent trade and glad I made money, and you'll forget about it. But the reality is that if you lose this trade any day of the week, you're like, bro, what am I doing? I'm like 1K away from getting my payout, and I took a trade in the opposite, in the Asian session after the main draw and liquidity was taken.
Exactly, bro. Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah, so you'd beat yourself up about that. Not worth it. Not worth the mental side of it.
No, not in the slightest, man.
No, so I think you did well.
Yeah, see, it looks like we're gonna ride up a little higher.
Best waiting just for better market conditions, really.
So when we get off stream, because I'll probably hop off around like 9, unless I find a setup. I'll stay a little longer if I find something. But are you gonna keep trading? Like, are you gonna keep your eye out on anything?
Look, man, probably not. There was even a trade on gold today, but I got to my desk a bit late. The setup on gold happened about half an hour after we went live. Wait, how long have we been live for?
God.
1 hour?
Bro, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but I'm glad I'm not a gold trader these last couple days. Jesus Christ.
Man, I've been out of it. I haven't been trading gold, which gold's like my freaking, I love trading gold, but yeah, man, no. I've been staying far clear of that.
Holy shit, that is dangerous, bro.
Yep. But there was a long trade this morning. Looking at the range, the setup's there anyway.
Yeah.
But the setup happened about an hour before we really went live, or half an hour before we went live, and after when we went live, the trade was already gone. So it just happened a little bit earlier today, and I wasn't at my desk. So, and to be honest with you, I'd be still holding that trade, but I'd be looking at getting out pretty soon. But I'm not that interested in any other trades on gold, because that was only very situational. Looking at the previous few days of price action on gold, like as you can see, it's not the best. So I wouldn't be looking for really much else. Once I get off the stream with you today, I will be just getting back to work and closing the charts.
Yeah, that might be the move, man. Tyler says he's long on gold off the daily chart. What price you long from,
man?
bro?
Because he's looking at the fair value gap.
Daily fair value gap right here.
Yeah, which does make sense. Which is one of the points of confluence why I would have taken the trade the long today, but I only would be looking for a scalp. Just like, we could pull down further into that fair value gap. I don't see why this one necessarily has to hold. To bounce, yes. I just don't know. Price action is too cooked. But
I got nothing here. I mean, at the end of the day, that these are going to get taken, these lows, because this is just a bunch of built up low resistance liquidity. So, I mean, it could be something like this, like a straight up just, seek and destroy, or accumulation, manipulation, distribution, AMD. So like this is your accumulation right here. This could be the manipulation, tap deeper into that daily fair value gap, and then maybe we distribute higher from here, something like this, just to take out all this low resistance liquidity. I can see something like that. Tyler says we're going to all-time highs.
Yeah. It's bullish for sure.
Yeah, definitely bullish. Yeah, just when. Sure.
It's just when are we going to get there? I don't know. Watch over the next week. Okay, I'm watching. Hopefully, man, because that would be if we start pushing up, we're going to get some really clean intraday price action. I'm going to be definitely passing more funded accounts if we start having that happen.
So actually, I want to ask you one thing about that before we go. And to answer your question, Giancarlo, yeah, futures will open back up tomorrow during the Asian session. So there'll be an Asia session to trade. It's going to be closed from like 12 p.m. Central until 6 p.m. or 5 p.m. Central, whatever. But yeah, bro. So okay, so what is your plan right now? Are you back to trading personal, or are you going with more? You sticking with prop? What's your plan?
I'll stick with prop, just because it's still cheaper to
Mhm.
try to keep trading on prop. Um, but I'm gonna try with smaller accounts, man. I think um, one of the things that psychologically I think I'm dealing with is the account. It's
Too
I'm
much.
trading too big. Yeah, don't trying to go
See,
too big too early.
see, bro. That's what I wanted you to be. I was like, bro, you have the 100K account now. That's 10K a drawdown. You should just fucking risk $100 per trade, because then at least you're not blowing that account. You know?
Yeah, exactly. But I'll try smaller accounts because they're cheaper, and I don't want to be going off busting, $800. Well, for me, it's 800 Aussie dollars for a 100K account. I don't want to be going through those, every 2 days. So,
Yeah.
and I think psychologically, if I'm dealing with an account that's more, if I work my way up to 100K accounts, then I
I
think I'll
agree.
be better. Like for me, it doesn't make sense that I am struggling with a 100K account because I feel like it's not that much money, but psychologically, in terms of trading with that much money, it is because I'm not used to it. So
Yeah. Well, if you're
obviously the
trading a personal account and you don't got 10K plus in there, it's a big step.
yeah, that's right. So it's something that I need to just be realistic with. Okay, I need to take this at a pace which makes sense. One of the things that Richard said on the podcast is every single person that tries to go too big too early doesn't they bust. He said
Yeah.
100% of the time, and he's been trading for like 20 years, and he said that yeah, that's what happens. I'm like, okay, maybe I should
Huge.
listen to that.
Oh,
So
100%.
um, you know, regardless of what your risk rules are, just psychologically they can't handle it. He said 0% of traders will be able to handle that. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm not gonna try and pretend that I'm anything special here. I'm gonna lower down the account size, see if I can work my way up to a larger account.
Love it.
So that's where I'm at now.
Love it, man. Yeah, no, I think that's a good move. Um, Bro, I don't know if you know this, but E8, which is a really big Forex prop firm, is actually getting into futures. And I was just looking at their plans, man. This is actually really interesting. I want to show you
Oh,
this real
look,
quick before we hop off. So let me go to the futures side. So they have three models for their futures prop. Is this it? Okay, this is it. But what's really interesting about the futures model, I am on futures, right? I just want to yeah, futures. Okay. This is different. So they're not offering straight to funding or anything.
yep,
What they are offering is you can pick your drawdown, right? And they're offering the most drawdown out of any futures prop in the space, which this has always been one of my biggest gripe with futures. It's like with on the FX side, Tyler, if he's still listening, if he's still watching, he knows what I'm talking about. Like on the FX side, you could get a 200K account and they're giving you 10% drawdown. You're getting $20,000 of room to
yeah,
play around with. Where futures, like pretty much the standard is on a 150K account, you're getting $4,500 of drawdown, right?
yep,
It's just a different game. Like the game with futures is to trade multiple accounts, trade smaller size, but you're compounding with multiple accounts, which is still great. It's another way to do it, but E8 is letting you trade up to 8% of drawdown. So like
that's pretty
again, it's
crazy.
it's not a cheap fee, but it's like pretty much the same price as like the average FX side of the firm. Like you're spending about the same. So the value makes sense. Futures traders just aren't as accustomed to paying this much for a challenge, but the FX traders are. And it again, you can get 12, not 12, 8% of drawdown. I could get $12,000 of drawdown in futures, which is like, bro, that's just crazy to me. So I
What's the
think
Model 2?
I'm gonna test them out. He's saying Model 2. Yeah, let's look at Model 2.
It's just there. It's right there down low. All right, there we go.
So it's
Okay.
also a one phase, which is good. Let's see, what's the profit target? I guess I'll go back down here. So Model 2. Oh, wait, I
You
got it.
select.
There we
Yeah,
go.
there you go. And 8% again.
Profit target is 6%. Okay, that's good. That's the
Oh.
usual futures type of model, but you could still get the extra drawdown. Ooh, this is fire. Okay. There's probably an
So
activation fee on this one, but I think the activation fee is 149, I heard. So like
yeah,
standard.
yeah. So he's got 8% drawdown, but the target's
16%.
16%.
But
But that's it's right. So
so it's a
yeah,
1 to 2, which is pretty standard in
yeah,
futures.
yeah. Okay. Have you ever been paid out, Tyler, from this firm?
Tyler has. Yeah. I think
Oh,
Tyler
yeah.
I think he had like a 50K trade on E8 that he got paid out from, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, good shit.
Yeah, he said, yeah, it's
That's nice
sick,
to
bro.
know.
Yeah, no, they're like one of the most trusted FX firms in the space. So when they came to futures, I was hyped. I'm going to have to try this out. I mean, dude, to get that much drawdown, if I can get, I probably wouldn't even pick 8% because honestly, I don't feel like looking for a 16% target. But if I could do this 6% drawdown on a 150K, I mean, that's $9,000 a drawdown. Again, it's probably trailing. I imagine this is a trailing drawdown, but I'm already used to trading that. Like that doesn't affect me. Um,
How
yeah,
can
it's
someone
got to
steal the
be,
money
yeah,
from you,
end of
Tyler?
day. So end of day trailing drawdown.
Mm,
Model 2 seems to be the move. And
yeah,
381, not terrible. And then probably if you pass, you're going to pay 149 activation fee.
yeah.
Oh, Ack is in the chat. What up, brother?
Yeah, gold.
Yeah, Tyler had 50K. He made 50K with E8.
Oh, bro, check Nasdaq. Oh,
No, don't tell me I'm missing something. Oh my
and
dude.
gold and
Oh,
gold would have hit my target as well. By the way, that was the gold target that I had. That point of control
damn
hit.
gold.
That would have slapped. And
Dude,
now, dude. So now this is where I would look for longs from Nasdaq because we hit that daily value low area that I was
I
looking for.
agree.
Actually, just rejected it perfectly. So now
Dude,
longs could
yes,
be it.
I agree. We also took the level I had marked out right here, this wick low,
Oh
828.
man.
This could be the long setup, guys. I'm done. I've got to hop off in a minute, but this could be the long setup to trade the 80% setup up to the POC. If you get a good inversion
Bro.
here, I think it could be a really good setup. I can't believe dude, both trades that if I just took from the fucking fair value would have been chilling.
Yeah, but I still would say that second trade wasn't.
It wasn't as good. No, it worked out, but it
Wasn't
wasn't
as
as
good.
good for sure.
That's
for
right.
Sure.
Yeah, but that gold, I'm shattered I didn't take that gold trade, man, because I would have been able to get in on such tight risk there. The risk reward on that trade would have been like, let's have a look.
Unless there's like this is a
like,
news headline type of thing. If it's as long as it's not like a crazy news thing, I think this could be our reversal spot for sure.
Yeah, you hit huge on gold. Good one, man. Yeah, that the gold is so technical, man. I love trading gold. That setup, man, was just like to a T from point to point. This today, and like it just went straight there. Like that would have been, I would have got like 7 or 8 times risk on that trade. It would have been really good, but I was just a little bit late to the party, feeling a little bit under the weather, so I woke up late. Didn't get there, so unfortunately, no trade for me. But yeah, man, glad you banked straight to that point of control. Boom.
Beautiful, man. Beautiful. Shit. All right, guys. Well, I mean, I think we did some good tape reading. We called all of this out, so we did some really good tape reading. I think we went over some strong technical analysis. But yeah, I guess we could end the stream there. Who knows? I might keep an eye on the charts and look for a long later. I think we got a good opportunity possibly for the longs now. But not going to take it down here yet. I think there'll be a lot of time. There'll be some room. We got this little 5-minute gap right here.
Well,
we might
now
have
I think
candle closes.
I
This could be a
keep
good
my
inversion.
charts open now.
Yeah, I mean, market's moving. You might have a good spot.
Yeah. Well, we hit a level that I was looking
How
for.
come US can't trade FTMO? Dude, I think FTMO is just like they try to do things super by the book. And technically, US traders are not legally allowed to trade CFDs. Like we're not allowed. CFDs were actually made to mirror the US futures market, and it was made for people who are not from the US to give them, the ability to trade US indexes if they can't trade futures. But US traders were not legally allowed to trade CFDs. So even though it's all simulated markets and simulated capital, I think the thought process from FTMO is that, it might be illegal. It sucks. I would love to trade with FTMO, man. I've never traded with FTMO, even when they allowed US traders. So yeah, it's kind of a bummer, but I'm a futures guy anyway, man. I'm definitely going to try out these E8 accounts soon. I'll keep everyone posted on that.
Cool.
All right, though, bro. Yeah, I guess that's it. And if you got anything else that you want to go over quick, but yeah, I guess we'll wrap it up.
Well, man, other than waiting for this long setup, there's nothing else to it. So yeah, we ought to get to it, brother. Appreciate the session. Very valuable stuff today, man. Even though we stayed out of those trades, it was analyzed perfectly. We had some good discussions around the current state of the market and how to keep yourself safe and make money as well. So I think we can call it a win from that standpoint.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Always love streaming with you, man. I'm sure you'll be back on hopefully next week. Aiden's like my partner here, bro. So every time I stream, I always let him know, like, you want to hop on? So
yeah,
he knows. Anytime that I'm streaming, he's always welcome.
Yeah, you're a legend, man. I definitely look forward to it next time as well. It's a lot of fun.
100%, bro. All right, dude. Keep me posted on that long. I'm gonna have my eye on the charts too. I think we'll see.
I'll let you know if I take it.
All right. Man. All right. Take care, everyone. Thanks for tuning in.
Ciao.
Like that video if you haven't liked it yet. That's all I ask.